5-Minute Fashion from the FIDM Museum. This episode is on fashion designer Norma Kamali. Here's Norma Kamali in 1984 from Harper's Bazaar magazine. She grew up in New York City and trained to be a fashion illustrator. Kamali opened a clothing boutique in Manhattan in the basement of this building during the late 1960s. During that time, she also worked for an international airline. Traveling to places like London, she brought back cutting-edge designs for her boutique. In 1970, Vogue reported her store was covered floor-to-ceiling in snakeskin wallpaper and even featured a selection of snakeskin accessories, as seen here. Soon, Norma Kamali was designing clothes under her own name and became known for daring evening wear, like this metallic jumpsuit that mixes extreme cut with maximum shoulder and thigh silhouette. By the mid-1970s, the enterprise she managed with her husband had expanded. Here's a magazine from 1979, the height of the disco era, showing all-over sequins in emerald green and that daring neckline. Sequins became a Kamali hallmark for both evening and day looks. She was also known for garments with oversized swags and tiers of drapery. Note the large shoulders accomplished with huge interior shoulder pads, which appear over and over in the Kamali silhouette. One of Kamali's most famous 1970s designs was this oversized quilted synthetic coat called the sleeping bag coat, which comes with its own matching tote bag. The designer herself enjoyed going camping and would wrap her sleeping bag around her at night as she sat outside. She thought the concept would make the perfect coat for cold winters in Manhattan. This coat has continued to be part of her lineup to the present. Kamali is well known for decades of swimsuit design. Actress Farrah Fawcett wore Kamali's red one-piece wet lycra look in this famous 1976 poster. The design was based on a dancer's leotard. By the mid-1970s, her swimsuits were sold in over 300 stores across the United States. Kamali was known for low cuts and unique materials, like this blue sequin bikini. As seen here, innovative cutaways made her suits body-aware. Kamali intended her wardrobes support vibrant health and an energetic lifestyle. One editorial noted, "Kamali women always look exhilarated." Her strapless, leopard-printed leather bathing suit with elastic sides was certainly a unique design. She has spoken about her creative process. "For me, creativity is not something that can be turned on and off. The more I design, though, the easier it flows." The designer has had constant success in swimwear from the 1970s by refreshing her tried-and-true design concepts. From 1990, here's another daring suit with peekaboo cutouts. After her marriage ended, Kamali rebranded her line as OMO, which stands for On My Own. She opened a new flagship location in the early 1980s, commenting that the space was an ideal spot to experiment and try out daring new ideas. She accomplishes this in part by utilizing strong silhouettes and powerful colors for clothing and accessories that allow the body to move freely. We can really see this aesthetic in her 1980s designs, like this voluminous yet lightweight dress made from dyed nylon parachute fabric. A related evening wear design in Harper's Bazaar, May 1985. This time made from metallic striped silk. This fashion editorial calls the silhouette the big shirt style. The cover of Jet magazine with a similar broad-shouldered style, but with a micro-mini hem length. Kamali popularized athletic chic in the 1980s. She produced a line of items made from sweatshirt material. One editor noted, "When she took the tracksuit and the sweatshirt and turned them into the easy clothes of the everyday, she moved fashion forward in a great big jump." This suit from 1984 is based on traditional office attire, but it's made from that soft gray sweatshirt fleece in an early example of today's athleisure apparel. In addition to clothing, Kamali came to offer accessories such as footwear, bags, and headwear, available not only at her headquarter New York City store, but also at specialty shops and department stores like Marshall Field's, Neiman Marcus, Macy's, and Bloomingdale's. Here's Kamali herself depicted in a drawing from Vogue magazine in 1984, styling a model in a hat similar to the styles just shown. Another theme in her work is mid-20th century vintage inspiration. This black and white ad from 1988 shows Kamali models in swing coats, gingham, trim suits, and feather hats, revealing her lifelong infatuation with the glamour of vintage. She noted her inspiration was often drawn from the classic films of the 1930s. She said, "1939 was my year. I obsessed with it. I could tell you every designer shape, fabrication, accessories." This Antonio drawing shows Kamali designs inspired from the 1940s, as can be seen in the high hair, snoods, bold prints, and small-waisted, long-skirted silhouettes. Gold lame was often used for evening wear by Hollywood costume designers in the 1930s. Here, synthetic lame is used for an evening dress. The skirt is cut in bias panels, which was a technique often used in 1930s styles. Kamali even used vintage-looking lame for an evening blazer, which was modeled on traditional menswear. This fringed suit is reminiscent of early 1940s styles, and it's covered in fringe, a popular material for dance dresses in the 1920s and 30s. The ensemble is styled with jewelry and a belt from her accessories lines. A lime green coat can fall open or be belted depending on the wearer's mood. The large puff at the neckline is a detail found in 1920s and 30s velvet evening wraps. Seen in the detail here, the coat is made from a material reminiscent of cotton chenille, a popular fabric made into bathrobes and loungewear during the 30s. This custom-made wedding gown dates to 1987. It features a Russian kokoshnik-inspired headpiece and melds a demure 1930s and 40s silhouette with Kamali's signature statement drapery. The diaphanous ensemble is an example of fashion history supporting a forward-thinking designer with a strong personal aesthetic. Note the 19-teens style mantle could be taken off for the wedding reception. Norma Kamali has an abiding interest in wellness and health. She expanded her fashion brand into the lifestyle market during the 1980s, introducing fragrance, body care products, and homewares. She even opened a wellness cafe. In 1996, Kamali began to sell clothes on the internet, making her one of the first fashion designers to do so. We take online shopping as a norm today, but in the 90s, e-commerce was cutting edge. This gender-fluid gown from 2020 is made of the same nylon parachute fabric Kamali has been known for since the 1970s. Today, Kamali creates new seasonal collections that often draw from her successful fashion heritage. Here, her staple sleeping bag coat is revisioned for the cover of Elle magazine in 2017.